The Department of Justice has finally released the Epstein files. After what seems like years of debating on the news about, do the Epstein files exist? What's in the Epstein files? Who is in the Epstein files? And after a long wait, we finally have the Epstein files. But I gotta admit, I must have egg on my face because I didn't think that they would ever release these files. I thought it was going to be like the Kennedy assassination where they just debate about it for 10, 20, 30 years and then actually never release the files. That's what I thought this was going to be like. But turns out I was wrong because the Epstein files are finally here.
Epstein files released. Now, I had a little hesitancy on that word because it's only part. The DOJ releasing a mass dump of heavily redacted documents tonight. And I want to just emphasize that point. By heavily redacted, I mean a lot of pages that look like this and this and this and this and this. And that's all I was going to do to the printer to make the point. Okay, there's a lot more of them.
Well, be careful what you wish for because the Department of Justice has pulled a big gotcha moment. Because the level of redaction in these Epstein files is actually on a whole nother level. I've seen heavily redacted files, but this is literally insane. Almost every single thing has been redacted, completely black page after black page. There's just no end. Well, what did they actually release? Essentially nothing, because I thought redaction is primarily supposed to protect the victims and their identities, but they've redacted almost every single thing that you can even think to see in the Epstein files. When they announced that they were releasing the Epstein files, we were thinking, finally, all of these pedos at our fingertips. We can finally see who these evil people are. No more hiding. And we can finally put to rest all of the rumors about who is in the Epstein files and who is not in the Epstein files. But as it turns out, none of that is true because we can't really see anything in the Epstein files. It's all been redacted. Oh, and by the way, these are the same Epstein files that the government said were essentially a hoax, that they don't even exist. And you got to be an idiot to believe in the Epstein files. Well, here they are. So just like believing in Santa Claus, we finally have the Epstein files. So we can finally at least acknowledge that they do exist and that there are certain individuals and celebrities that are in the Epstein files. So basically we get one line and then continuous redaction, just black line after black line. And I'm not cherry picking here. If you look at the files in the PDF, it's just endless darkness, black page after black page after black page. There's not a whole lot here. Oh, we got those evil pedos on the ropes now. Surely they're going to be held accountable with what the Department of Justice just dropped in our laps. And this comes from the most transparent administration that we've ever had. It's kind of just laughable at this point. These heavy redactions aren't the only things in the Epstein files. They did release a whole treasure trove of brand new pictures featuring different celebrities like Michael Jackson, Bill Clinton, Chris Tucker. But by the way, Bill Clinton is like the Where's Waldo of the Epstein files. He's in picture after picture after picture. If you're looking at some pictures of the Epstein files, look for Bill Clinton. You're gonna find him in some of these pictures. He's just everywhere in here. As you may have suspected, some of the pictures also have been redacted. So you'll see Epstein or Maxwell with their arm around someone, and their face is essentially a giant black box. Redacted. Protect their identity. There's a note in the Epstein files that says something to the tune of, some of these people's identities have been redacted in the pictures because they're political figures. Isn't this the most important type of person that we want to expose? We want to expose these political figures and put them behind bars or get them out of office, but they're redacting their identity in the pictures of the Epstein files. That doesn't really compute with me. But by the way, here's Bill Clinton in about 1,000 pictures. A former president, the highest office. We'll show him endlessly. But some of these other political figures, no, we're going to redact that. We're not going to show you that. We got to protect their identities. Perhaps the person that appears the most in pictures with Jeffrey Epstein is our sitting president, Donald Trump. There's so many pictures of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein together, or pictures of Donald Trump framed on a wall at Jeffrey Epstein's residence. By the way, Giselle Maxwell, she's serving 20 years, but there's a lot of jokes regarding that they really took it easy on her because she's at Club Fed is what they refer to, and part of the Canine Companion program where she gets to interact with puppies in prison. So that also doesn't really compute with me because it seems like they really took it pretty easy on her if she can interact with puppies and she's at a Club Fed. I mean, it's just not really all adding up here. What exactly is going on with Jeffrey Epstein and the Epstein files? It's not adding up. Here, for example, is one of the new pictures, and allegedly Donald Trump is in this picture. It's really hard to tell. It kind of looks like him in there in the corner, but there's some speculation in some of these pictures that as they were taking pictures at the Epstein residence, they did find Donald Trump pictures, and they put the Donald Trump pictures in a drawer so they couldn't be seen. That's speculation. I don't know if that's true, but you can definitely see Donald Trump clearly, a picture of him in a drawer put away. But here's the big question. Why aren't they doing anything with the files that they do actually have? Because the files aren't redacted for them. They know the identity of these people. Why aren't they actually doing anything? Why is nothing happening with the Epstein files? You know, Epstein went to jail, and of course he's gone now, but Giselle Maxwell was served. But I mean, nobody else has been charged or implicated. It's just, what exactly is going on? We do have Bill Clinton. Of course, if Bill Clinton went to trial and Bill Clinton fell, then definitely we would be having tons of other individuals going to trial and falling. I mean, that would be like the domino effect. The Bill Clinton, the Where's Waldo, is in so many pictures with Jeffrey Epstein. I mean, surely if, he went to trial, then others would follow and we would finally, maybe get some justice going on with this case. But endless redactions, redacted pictures, I don't even know what's going on anymore. Just seems like there's just injustice and we're not getting the full story. Seems clear. Is the government transparent? It's hard to tell at this point. Apparently, there are other people that have been implicated. They call them the 10 co-conspirators or Epstein's lieutenants. But they've been implicated, but they haven't been charged with anything. So justice doesn't really seem to be being served here. Now, think about this for a second. They have apparently 1,000 victims, 1,000 confirmed victims in the Epstein files. 1,000, but nobody to charge besides Epstein and Maxwell. 1,000. Of course, there's no single contact book, but they do have a series of contact books and flight logs with, the client list essentially. But, nobody's being charged. Anyway, that's all I got to yap about. I'll catch you guys on the next one.